Woo!
All right. Good morning. Welcome. Saturday morning.
That's right.
Morning. Coffee with the Dummies.
And Greg Swartz.
Greg.
We were just talking sledding and the orange sleds. This could be a sled focused podcast, Scott. we were just talking sledding and the orange sleds. This could be hold on, he's got to mute a little
that's
bit.
me. That's me. There we go.
There you go. He's got the lag, I can tell.
No, well, I had the tab open for the chat, for the YouTube chat. Sorry about that.
So, Greg, talk to us. You got a lot of big things that are just about to happen.
Yeah. So we 6 days from now, geez, that's frightening. 6 days from now, we are going to start streaming the film online for 6 days. We're kind of had to just pick a date, and we wanted to time it out with Burns Night. It seemed like it seemed like as good a reason as any.
Perfect.
What happened was we were going to stream it once. We were just going to do a whole day-long thing, but then we actually showed the movie to the people in the movie, and almost all of them, we asked who would be interested in doing like Q&As and panels and stuff with us, and they all said yes. So we couldn't put 15 of them in one. So we decided, well, let's just do a different panel each night. We can stream the movie different days as well, since people have a lot of free time right now.
Yes.
Now you had was it just the reveal kind of, or the kind of the intro to it was planned, last May or so on Isla?
Yeah, that's a bummer. But we were gonna do a big launch at Bruichladdich during the Festival, and we were very, very excited about it. And then we actually had 7 other whiskey and or film festivals lined up to go to, and one by one they just all kind of disappeared on us. So we decided to adjust and adapt.
Beautiful.
Well, for those watching, just real quick, Greg, talk about the movie. It's The Water of Life.
Yes.
Kind of give a Cliff Note version of what we'll be watching, what we'll be seeing.
So, I should have. Well, you guys may have it already anyway, the trailer. But if you don't, I certainly can get it for you. But so we, 2 years ago, we set out to make this film about the creativity and craftsmanship that has kind of reinvigorated Scotch whiskey all over the world and turned it into this giant titan of beverages. And it's what we did is, rather than there's been a number of there's been a number of whiskey films made, but most of them are sort of travelogues where this week we're here and this week we're here and this week we're here and we're going to learn about this. And that's great. Some of them I enjoy quite a lot, but it's just not what we wanted to do. We really wanted to focus on the people and tell some more dramatic stories about that. And so we picked a handful of distilleries that we felt like were a cross section of new and old, large and small, some very traditional ones, some very experimental ones, and just really get a cross section of the industry today. Especially some of them, all of the ones we picked are, in my opinion, doing or have done really very creative things in recent years. They're not just kind of riding on their laurels, resting on their laurels. There you go. And so it didn't take long for them to kind of become front and center in the film. Not only do they do a lot of experimental stuff, they also had tons of drama around them. Just by reopening not by a big corporation and being broke for a long time and just struggling and really, they were very creative and not making any money, for the longest time, and that only lasts so long until the world noticed.
So you say a handful of distilleries. Now the trailer, and there is a link to it in the description of the video here. Anybody that wants to go watch it, and it's a great trailer. But you focus a lot on Bruichladdich. What other distilleries are you looking at?
So we do pieces in the film about the Brown-Forman 3, the Glendronach, Benriach, Glenglassaugh. We did a bit about Glenallachie and Billy Walker's newest venture. We did a bit about Balvenie, and then we went to Benromach. And then we also did a whole segment about independent bottling and spent a full day at Gordon and MacPhail and some smaller independent bottlers, including Douglas Lang and North Star. And then we wanted to do at least a little bit about some of the new distilleries that have popped up. And so we spent a day at the Glasgow distillery.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah, your trailer, not only is it beautiful, but it even hooked me right away because you got it teased in so well, the strong personalities that are there. I mean, Jim opening up with his mom sending him home, to bed without dinner. So, I mean, it's just perfect. Yeah, and then again, it's just gorgeous always. I mean, the everything's set up so beautifully, and you've captured it so well.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
I always tell people that this is kind of in the film. But I'm putting it in my own words. Is that when that team came together at Brooklotti, it was always one of those bands that was going to make a great couple of albums, but it wasn't going to last too long.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were just a lot of very strong personalities, and it has continued. It's just that it has split and reconvened in different ways now. I don't want to give away too much, but one of the things that our crew moaned about at the time, but I was adamant that we shoot in November because I wanted all the outdoor stuff in Scotland to look November-y, not. I mean, look, I always tell people that I think Scotland is beautiful, but it's not pretty. It's not Hawaii. And
right.
It has a sort of a browns and oranges and this kind of ruggedness to it. And I wanted that. So we shot in November.
Well, and the way you're capturing like the steams and things that's some of the, right. It's just, it kind of puts you there as you can see it coming off. So
yeah,
perfect.
Well, I think though too, you mentioned like November, it's not necessarily 0 degree freezing weather. It's just because being on the ocean, I think a lot of the warm climate kind of keeps it decent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wet, but not frozen. I mean, we did have a tiny bit of snow actually. There's actually a couple shots in the movie from the drone. I think there's one in the trailer with the drone of the snowy fields. That was just one day, and it wasn't a ton of snow, but we actually probably had 15 days of sun. We actually had 3 days of rain, so not a very Scottish ratio, but it still got us. We got what we wanted.
Perfect. Now, as far as when do you have as you're showing the film and you've got these different panels coming on, do you have that firmed out where you're willing to tease a little bit on some of the panels that you'll have, or
yeah.
Okay.
No, we announced the final panel last night. So actually, because I'm embarrassed if I get any of them wrong, I'm looking at my list in front of me now to make sure I have them all right. I know them all. But what we're doing is, while I'm looking this up, is we are doing every night at 9 p.m. UK time. We're doing a live Q&A, and it's going to be. We kind of did a mix of distillers and whiskey writers or whiskey commentators each night to kind of balance that out. And I'll be there, and some of the other members of our team as well. And the film, people can stream if people buy tickets, they can stream the movie anytime they want during that day. There's no locked time for the movie. It's just for the Q&A because I can't get Jim McEwen out of bed at 4 a.m. So yes, the first night is Jim McEwen, Charlie McLean, and Adam Hannett. And the second night is Mark Renier and Blair Bowman. Nice. The third night is Liam Hughes and Shug McMurray, both from the Glasgow distillery. The fourth night is Rachel Barry and Jenna Eli. The fifth night is Stephen Rankin from Gordon and MacPhail with Josh Peters. And the final night is David Stewart from Balvenie with Charlie McLean again.
Very nice.
And there may be a few additional people added to that as well. Some of those nights. We have a couple late comers.
Beautiful. Let's see. I haven't been watching. Scott, any questions coming in?
No, I was going to ask. You just mentioned the tickets, basically, and you can watch it anytime that day. Where do people find the tickets?
The tickets are for sale on our website, through our website, wateroflifefilm.com. We're actually working with a company called Show and Tell that does documentary streaming online, but it goes through our website. So. I don't know. I meant to ask, did you guys, I know you were supporters in the crowdfunding campaign. Did you watch it the other day? We did the crowdfunding screening.
No, have not. No, did not.
Okay.
Nope.
It's funny because I actually don't have any idea how many of our crowdfunding supporters watched the film the other day. Someone else on our team can tell, but I can't. I don't have access to that panel on the show and tell page, so I don't know. But I know there were 432 people invited to see it. So
yeah,
beautiful, very nice, very nice. All right.
There's a question from Eric Waite. Will the film be available on other platforms at a later time, basically DVD, Hulu, Amazon, Netflix? What's your plans there?
Yes. Yes, it will. So what we're doing is, this is basically, we're treating this like what would have been our festival run ahead of time to kind of get notoriety and stuff. We're just doing it ourselves. And then actually after this 6 days, we're doing a bunch of littler events with some whiskey clubs around the US. Just, we're going to do some smaller single day things here and there. And that's going to go through the couple of months, probably off and on. I think we're doing one in Sweden and one in Norway. I mean, when I say in Sweden and Norway, I mean, I'm going to be sitting in the same chair I'm sitting in right now. But the club is there. And then we're going to go, then we'll start selling DVDs and Blu-rays, and then we'll wind up, we actually had some offers on some of the streamers already. We just wanted to do this first because if you get dumped into the streamers without any kind of audience build up ahead of time, you just get dumped into oblivion, until the algorithm of Netflix or Amazon Prime or iTunes, until it knows to target you. You'd be amazed. Like I was just the other week, I was on Amazon Prime and I searched for beer just out of curiosity. There were like 17 beer documentaries on there, and I drink a lot of beer, and I was never once targeted for any of these documentaries. So this is kind of will put us in better stead when we go there. And I'd say that will probably be late this year. We'll wind up on those things.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. I guess I didn't think about that. So,
well, we actually have a distribution consultant now, because that's a thing. And we just pretty much do what he tells us to do. And he's great. He's really great, and has been at it for a long time.
All right, let me see if we've got anything else. Did you see anything else other than the snipers comment there, Scott?
Nope.
All right. Well, there's a. Sorry, that was. Oh wait, yeah, I saw Ralphie. If I can get it back on. He watched the trailer. Now Ralphie is in it, and he's got his quintessential. He's got his Glencairn around his neck. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Ralphie originally declined to be in it and then changed his mind. And then we spent a half a day with Ralphie in the Bon Accord in Glasgow, which was before they opened. They let us Ralphie, I guess, they do have a giant picture of him on the wall. So I guess when you get to the point where you have a picture on the wall of a bar, that bar will do favors for you.
So, Ralphie's big time there.
Yes.
He pulls a lot of water in that place. So yeah, we shot there with him for a few hours, and it's funny. We gave Ralphie we did 2 advanced screenings, one in Scotland and one in Germany, and Ralphie was at the one in Scotland and in Glasgow, and we gave Ralphie a scarf. There's a guy, a tartan maker in Scotland, who has designed a tartan called the Angel Share tartan. It's like a tartan for the whiskey industry. And he gave us a bunch of scarves, and we gave Ralphie one. And then I've seen Ralphie wearing it in videos since then. So I have to admit, I was excited about that.
Yes. No, that's awesome.
That's where we had a little gathering there at the Bon Accord when we was in Scotland 2 years ago now.
Yep. Man, it's been almost 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a year since I've been there.
It's a great, I'd say bar, but a great establishment.
Yeah, and it was packed.
Yeah.
So,
did you guys go to the pot still?
No, we did not. That was the first night we were there. There was some of the other people had gone there, and they had texted Roy Aqua Vitae, and we had just gotten into Scotland though when we're pretty
wiped out.
Yeah, by that time, and so we did not go there. But
yeah, we ended up just relaxing with Aqua Vitae and sipping some. What were we were in his front room just sipping some nice single malt. I can't even remember what it was.
Well, we had a few.
Yes, there's that. There's that. So, but yeah, because everyone was like, come out there. I'm like, I told Scott, I go, I hate to be the sleepy person, but I'm very comfortable right here.
Yeah, I was too at that point. Had been you're pretty just beat down, ready to get some sleep.
Yeah.
The last time I was in Scotland, we stayed in Glasgow. We stayed walking distance to the Bon Accord, which was and equidistant to walking distance to the pot still on the other side of it. So we were right in the middle of the two. So that was a recipe for trouble.
Yeah. Well, we had just come back from just under a week of filming out at Waterford with Mark. And so then we were coming over to spend a week over in Scotland. And so it was kind of just, we'd been go. But yeah, let me open up this old one.
Yeah, because have you talked to Mark, Renier since the filming and just kind of some of his ventures and stuff that he's doing with Waterford over in Ireland?
Well, I mean, we filmed there, and
oh, that's right. Yep, you're in the office there. There's their meeting room there.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we filmed in Waterford with Mark, and then Mark has agreed to do a Q&A with us. But I actually, since that day, I've only spoken to Mark Newton, the guy that works for him, and it's set it all up.
Yeah,
I haven't actually spoken. Although we did do 2 interviews with Mark. We did a follow-up interview with Mark at his house in Edinburgh. But I haven't. I've had the Waterford whiskey, but I haven't been back. I haven't been anywhere since.
Yeah,
sure. We were planning to go to their opening, their launch of the whiskey, but that didn't happen. I think it was in June. It was going to be.
Yeah, that got canceled last year as well.
Yeah,
I know.
That was terrible.
Question for Greg. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong chat here. From Gregor, he wants to know, kind of touch on for you, Greg, touch on your whiskey journey and relationship with Scotch. What's your epiphany whiskey?
It's funny that we're talking about the Bon Accord, because in a lot of ways, my whiskey journey began like 30 years ago at the Bon Accord, before Paul even owned it. I was an exchange student in Glasgow in college. And one of the guys, I was a sophomore, and I think he was a grad student. I don't know. He was, when you're 19, someone who's 21 feels a lot older to you.
Yeah. They're like worldly. They're very worldly.
Yeah. So this older guy was like, "Oh, you guys got to go check out the Bon Accord," and we didn't know what that was. So he took me and my friend over there, and we spent a night there just sampling the single malts, as it were. And so it's funny because I was 19. So I got on an airplane. I want to say it was in Newark, New Jersey, and I was not legally allowed to drink alcohol. And I landed in Scotland, and I was.
Yeah.
so there was a shop at the time in Glasgow called I can't even remember the name of it, but it was on. I remember it was on Buchanan Street, and they sold. What it is the guy prided himself on having miniatures of every whiskey in Scotland. He was basically, his whole business was selling miniatures. So, I mean, I basically was just, after that night at the Bon Accord, I was like, I have one of these, I have one of these, I have one of these. And I guarantee you those whiskeys now would be worth a fortune. And I probably housed them all down in a couple of weeks. That was really the beginning.
What, Lee J. Brown, does Greg have a favorite distillery or malt?
Well, I think that I hate to sound like such a homer, because I kind of just made a film mostly about them. But Bruichlotti's absolutely one of my favorite distilleries for sure. Traditionally, I always loved Balvenie. I mean, that was, and I also really like Springbank a lot. But I will say, it's funny. This is such a pretentious answer, but it's the truth. I can't get any more of my favorite whiskey of all time. At Bruichlotti, a lot of the distilleries, they have like the single cask Valenches, the distillery only one you fill yourself. Mm-hmm. And the third time we went to Bruichlotti, it was a Port Charlotte. It was a 13-year-old Port Charlotte. And it was, how they always use the 3-letter abbreviation, like the OLC and all those. It was MNC, which they have not done since, MNC 01. And it was a Costière de Nîmes. I looked it up. Is the winery that was the wine barrel it was finished in. And there's something about that whiskey that when I would drink it, I would dream about it that night. Every time I had a dram of it, I would dream about it.
Wow.
And So one of our producers in Scotland found out how much I loved it, and she got the distillery to set aside another bottle for her, and then she sent it to me eventually. So I got a second bottle of it, and now one of the friends of the film, our friend Robert Buchner in Germany, who he actually did our German subtitles for us. He told me he owns 3 bottles of that, and he's going to sell me one at cost. So I'm going to get another one eventually, but that's it. Unless Bruichladdich realizes that they should start selling that one.
Wow. Yeah, GCAP had a good, just more of a statement. Damn, just found the Water Life email in my spam. I could have watched it on the 14th.
It's someone wrote that's the same thing to me yesterday. Because someone wrote to me and said, "Did I miss this?" And and then I said, "Yeah, we sent out 2 emails." And then he wrote later and said, "Oh, it somehow got spammed out."
Grabbed it.
Well, we may do another Indiegogo screening at some point anyway. We're waiting for some numbers, but right now all of our energy and focus is on this big lift.
You bet. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else?
Just a couple real. What was your background before filming?
I'm a filmmaker. Trevor, my business partner Trevor, and I'm the director. He's producer. We own a company together, and we do lots of storytelling related. We've done short form docs. We've done commercials. We met on a feature film that I directed and he produced. The last year, well, I guess 2 years ago now, we did a short doc about a really interesting drinks company. There's a drinks company called Rebel, REBBL. And it stands for roots, extracts, berries, barks, and leaves. And it's not alcohol drinks. It's like coconut milk elixir kind of drinks and it's a pretty cool business model this guy came up with he's in San Francisco. He's a professor. He does ethical venture capital stuff. So what he does is he'll try to find a charity that needs money, and then he'll try to create a business that the charity can own part of, so the charity doesn't have to spend all of its time raising money. So this one guy, actually a baseball player, I can't remember his name right now. He's on the Giants. He was a pitcher for the Giants. Pitched them this idea of going to parts of the world where people were really, really exploited for their labor, and but had really rich like roots, extracts, berries, barks, and leaves. And they started making drinks and paying these people well to do it. And then the charity, most of the company's owned by investors, but the charity owns 20% of the company. So the charity makes money and doesn't have to spend all of its time just doing fundraising emails and stuff, So he's done that a bunch of times now. So we made a film about him. And that's as short as I can tell that story. I'm sorry.
No, that's fabulous. I love it. Now, that's a good point. What are some of the other, where can they find some of your work? Can people find some of your work, or if they want to see more of what you've done, can you point them to a couple of your projects that they could go watch?
Sure. Well, the feature that I directed and Trevor produced is called Another Harvest Moon, which I believe is on Amazon Prime still. They do licensing and they come and go, and I can't keep track. But that actually was one of Ernest Borgnine's last films. And we had this amazing cast of all actors in their 90s. Ann Mira, Ernest Borgnine, Doris Roberts, Piper Laurie, and then Sybil Shepherd's in it. And so that's online. Like I said, that's on Amazon Prime. And then the Rebel thing is, at this point, it's on YouTube now. I mean, it kind of made its rounds 2 years ago, but and then lots of other short form stuff that we've done is on our website, blacksmithjones.com.
Beautiful. Yeah, I saw that. We'll make sure we link to that as well.
We had a link to the trailer in the description. I just copied over your website page as well over in there. So anybody that's watching, you can click on that. And then right there on the home page, you can buy your tickets if you want to watch it on the upcoming dates. So,
I'll tell you something cool about the trailer. We really love the trailer a lot as well. And we were really lucky. There's a couple of trailer houses, as they call them, in LA that are they're production companies that mostly that's their specialty, is just making movie trailers. And we, through a friend of a friend, through the Whisky Fabric, met Breton, who's the owner of the refinery, and they loved the movie, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do this. We got a little bit of downtime right now." I mean, these guys do They just did the Ford versus Ferrari. I think when they cut our trailer, they had just finished doing like the video launch of Ford versus Ferrari. I know they did the Mandalorian. It's like, so we are like this. We're punching way above our weight class.
Beautiful. Well, they did a heck of a job, I can tell you. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely pays off. I mean, it makes you want to watch for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, whoa. And then you've got the little hints of the controversy in there and the history. And I was like, yeah, it looks great.
Well, one of our goals was to tell a story that was really cinematic. We didn't want to just be a bunch of talking heads. We really wanted, we had a full-time drone pilot. And he kind of operated on his own, like separate. Every morning, the whole shoot, we all lived together in a house, which could have made it, frankly, its own reality show. Once in Isla, and then when we were done there, we went to Dufton, and we had houses that we all lived in. And so every morning we would meet, and we would give the drone pilot a list of what we wanted shot that day, like which distilleries, that kind of stuff. And that wouldn't take him all day, but it'd take him a lot. So he had his own car, and he'd go off and get the shots on his own while we were doing the interviews and stuff. So it worked really well.
Yeah, very nice. I know when we were over there and we were driving around with Roy, Aqua VK.
Roy was our drone pilot.
Well, yeah, he's our pilot, and he was doing some drone stuff. And then, I'm running around with a camera and my phone, and I'm trying to Instagram and tweet and film stuff for YouTube, and the drones up. And
I was sipping whiskey.
Yeah, and Bart would be over there drinking whiskey.
I'd be like, hey, this is great. Aqua jacket.
Like, we need a bunch of interns is what we need.
I was just telling someone yesterday that for the whole shoot, the whole 4 weeks we were there, I never drove. I was just driven everywhere. So I could drink at my leisure, and did.
Beautiful. What are the little tiny bugs called again? I forget.
Midgies.
Midgies, that was it. Yeah, one point I'm like, ow, and Roy's like, "Ooh, the midgies are getting you." I'm like, "What are these, man?" He's like, "They're like angry gnats." I'm like,
"Yeah,
man, these things bite. How are they doing this?"
We made a couple of social media videos where it's me standing on the hill outside of Art Beg trying to talk. And if you look at we edited it down, but the second I'm done talking, you just hear me say,
yeah. I mean, I'm like, oh, some gnats. And then they got angry. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on?
I think they only last like 2 months a year.
Well, we found them.
We were there. Yeah. Well, we were there in May as well. When we were there, it was actually a week or two before the phase was starting up.
Right.
So,
yep. We had a nice Airbnb right down from Bowmore, and
it was in Bowmore. Yeah.
Right from in Bowmore, right down from the distillery, and even that was nice because we're all in this house with individual rooms, and then I can't remember his name, but the gentleman that's living in the attic, that's a local, he comes down and what are you guys drinking? And of course he's like, hey, fill the glass. And then we just sat and chatted, and I mean, it was just that kind of folksy atmosphere.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're at our 30-minute time limit we set. Bart's got another live coming up on his board game board game
whatever
channel.
Don't listen to him. Board gaming and sledding. I could do a whole nother channel on sledding there, Greg. Unfortunately, that wouldn't play well in Kansas. They'd be like, what are you sledding on? Nothing. I got no hills here. Sorry.
It's funny. I've only been in Kansas once in my life, and it was in January, and there was an ice storm, and my car slid off the road and did a 180. And then we sat there for like an hour, my friend and I, and then he and I were like, all right, well, let's just push this car back up on the road and go find a hotel. Then we were on our way to Vegas.
So where Kansas City area? What part of Kansas?
It was very rural. That's all I remember. It was very rural.
That's most of Kansas.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah. I want to say it was Western Kansas, but.
Well, hey, Greg, just close out and tell everybody again where to find you, where to find the film, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. The film is waterlifefilm.com, and that will be that'll take you everywhere you need to go. I was going to do a thing about our tasting kits, but we sold out of our tasting kits. So we made tasting kits to pair with the movie, and we put little dots that pop up in the corner that correspond with which dram you should drink at that point in the movie based on which distillery we're about to talk about. And we made
genius.
What we did make the tasting mat, anyone can download it and make their own now, but we sold out of the kits that go with it. But the tasting mat is on our website. You can download it. And at the little dots, like Glenallachie, Brooklotti, Balvenie. So, they all sort of line up as you go through the film.
Very nice. Well, yeah, that'd be neat to do. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, great. Thanks for coming on this Saturday morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
Coffee time with the Dummies.
That's right.
Yeah. I didn't bring a coffee with me. I left it downstairs.
Beautiful. Now you can get back out in that orange sled.
Yeah, it's coming down really hard right now.
Ooh, love it. God, I'm a little jealous. So scotch it. You Scotch gods.
Sláinte, Dummies.
There we go. Ooh.